So part three of how to start journaling when you don't know how, we're going to explore some other ways to kind of keep you motivated and keep you on track. Now, if you haven't watched part one and two, in those I've been through some different ways that we can get ourselves started. And I'm hoping that if you've been watching the series, you're actually at that point, you go, do you know what? I kind of like this journaling thing. So my invitation is to go and sign up for a free 21-day challenge. It's the 21-day Reinvent Yourself challenge. Why do that? That's because when you get the email, you will get different kinds of prompts and questions, and you'll get some stuff to read that hopefully will spark your imagination and inspire you to put pen to paper. Now, in the other parts one and two, we've covered up to day 4. So we're now on day 5. And what I'm going to talk about in this part is how prompts can actually help us to start that journaling process. Now, I've talked previously about writing the mundane and then letting the magical happen. And writing the mundane means getting your journal and writing something like, I woke up this morning and I had toast for breakfast and it wasn't very interesting. And then I remembered I had some jam. So I put jam. You write the mundane. And what will happen is this magical pen will start to write something that's actually in your heart that wants to come out. So day 5 of our challenge is called Courage. And when you open up the email, you will see that there are some different kinds of prompts. So there's 5 things here. So the question says, what fears hold me back from change? Now, that question is all about, if we could find the courage to change, then we can take some baby steps forward. Now, often what holds us back is we're scared of something. Fear is natural. We have this fear mechanism to keep us safe. It keeps us inside this thing called a comfort zone. So what fears hold me back? What's going on inside this comfort zone that means you are not going to step over that line? The journal prompt here is describe one fear and how it impacts my actions or mind steps. Tip, take one small step. I can't even speak. One small step today, even if it feels uncomfortable. There's my comfort zone. I've looked at my fears. And if I just take one little step and I'm here and I'm looking around and, I can see some possibilities, things will change. And then reflect on how facing those fears, however small, shifts your energy. So one step is immensely courageous. One step in your journaling journey is immensely courageous. So prompts can really help us to move the needle. We don't have to sit there going, I have no idea what to write. We pick up a prompt and we get going. So in keeping with the idea of using prompts, so we've got the 21-day Reinvent Yourself challenge, then we could use journaling books. So I have this book called 101 Days of Being Me. The story behind this is in 2014, I discovered my husband was living a double life. 6 weeks later, I packed everything up into our motorhome, put my 2 dogs in, and I drove to a rundown old house in Spain where I promptly fell to pieces. Believe you me, my journal, they're long since burnt, but my journal, oh my goodness me. But here's something else that I did, is every day for 101 days. So I used to teach executive leadership. And we all know that the first 100 days of being in any new kind of leadership position are probably the most challenging. So I decided to do 101 days of being me. And what that meant was every day when I went out for a walk with my dogs, I had my mobile phone and I talked. And when I played it back, I cried so much. But that inspired me to write an email series called 101 Days of Being Me. And at the time, I kind of wish I hadn't started, because I remember sitting in bed with my computer on my lap thinking, oh no, I've got to, people have signed up for this. I've got to write the next lot of things. And that really, really did challenge me. But, fast forward, and I've put together this book called 101 Days of Being Me. So talking about prompts, then if you didn't want to sign up for any emails, you could go and get a journaling prompt book like this. And you can either start at day one. If you don't like to start at day one, you can open up to any page. And day 24 here says the strength of surrender. And there are some stuff to think about and some journal prompts and a call to action. So here's another way of following prompts. I love stuff like this. And if I had been organized, I'd have gone and got you. I've got a little book called 101 Affirmations to get you through the day. So with affirmations, we look at the affirmation, we look at resistance or resonance, and we explore what comes up when we look at that affirmation. Now, here's my third way of working with prompts. Oracle cards. Lots of people love Oracle cards. I'm sure most people are like me with lots and lots of decks, and we often have a favorite. This is a self-love deck. I really like this deck. I don't know where the book is, but that doesn't matter for this. We're not going to look at the book. So we're going to do a shuffle, and then we're going to pick a card. Oh, we talked about courage earlier, and we talked about strength. And this one says the gift of strength and the solar plexus. I mean, that is just so perfect. Now, what we can do with a card is we can sit and look at the card and see if anything on the card is resonating with us. So the lady in the card has her eyes closed. She looks quite in peaceful repose. So that might bring up the word peace. So you might be thinking, well, how do I bring some peace into my life? There's also the number 11. You might be into numerology, and that might mean something. The solar plexus, about identity. Maybe right here, right now, you need the gift of strength. So you could use this card to journal around. So this is part 3. So there's some more ideas about how you can get started on journaling when you don't know how. So part 1 and 2 look at, so part 1 is mostly about the kind of mechanical things, environment, getting the right journal, pen, all that sort of stuff, and stacking habits. Part 2, we looked at some really, really simple ways. And in this part, we looked at prompts. Prompts, sign up for the 21-day Reinvent Yourself challenge. Go and get something like 101 days of being me, and perhaps look at things like some oracle cards to inspire you. Now, the key thing I want to say here is you don't have to do the same thing every day unless you want to. So you might want to start a challenge and see it all the way through, or you might want to mix it up. The key thing about journaling is you do what works for you. Okay, so my website is daledarley.com. You can go and find loads of free stuff that's going to help you with your journaling journey. And if you love what I'm doing, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will be back with some more stuff later on. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.